Hey everybody, it's Justin Renfrow. Make sure you tune in to DNC Digital every week. All right, good shows coming up.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy D from DNC Digital, back with another episode of DNC Radio. My guest today is Justin Renfrow. Justin Renfrow is an offensive tackle for the Edmonton Elks in the CFL. He also played in the NFL with the Cardinals and the Packers and the Seattle Seahawks, including that season when they went to the Super Bowl. He is the owner of Justin Renfrow Apparel and also the host of What's Cooking JR on the Justin Renfrow Network on YouTube. Justin, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, man. It's really cool to talk to you. We have a mutual friend in LX, aka Leon, and we were just talking about him, and just such a great guy. And let's put him over. What can you say about Leon?
I mean, he's just a great guy. Like we were talking about just before, talented and at everything he does, and he has a great gift and I think he can bring a lot of people together with all his gifts. So I just try to help him any way I can and cheer him on as much as I can too, because I'm a fan of him. So yeah.
Definitely also a mutual fan and a guy I consider a friend, just a great guy. So shout out to LX Leon. One of the first questions I always ask everybody, and I feel like it's a very, very important question. We need to talk about food. Now, I grew up in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is about half an hour away from where you grew up in Philly. And I now live in South Texas. And everybody, not everybody, but there are some places, some establishments, well-respected establishments, and I'm sure that their food is good. But when they try to advertise a Philly cheesesteak, I'm like, that is impossible, young man. That is impossible. You need to go to Philly. You need to get yourself a cheesesteak, drive back home with the windows up so that the smell stays in the car. And you need one of them old dudes, like one of them old grumpy dudes to make you one of those. So if I were to visit you and your family in Philly, where would be the spot to go to for the quintessential Philly cheesesteak?
I would take you right around the corner from my high school, to D'Alessandro's and Chubby's. See, I'm a cheat a little bit. I'm gonna take you to a spot that has two literally across the street from each other.
Are those the warring ones? Is that the one, the legendary?
No, that's Gina. Okay. That's that Hollywood bullshit downtown. I like this.
Don't buy into it. All right.
Yeah, that's that Hollywood downtown stuff. They put that on there.
Understood.
But so I'll tell you the top three: Jim's, D'Alessandro's, Chubby's. You got to try those three if you go on to Philly. Like, you can't. Cheetos and Pat's. And then I haven't tried this, but I've heard it's this place called John's Roast Pork as well. He's supposed to have a good cheesesteak, and they've won this roast pork award. I feel like I haven't got a chance to go there.
Yeah.
I think won the roast pork award, and they also make cheesesteaks is how. But, people keep talking about that spot as well. When I get back home from Canada, I'm gonna make my way to John's Roast Pork. I had to hit you with a message to let you know.
Hell yeah! I mean, roast pork itself, I feel like is really tough.
Yeah,
it's difficult to try to get to that sweet spot because everybody know. I mean, for people that love food, that it's all about that moment. There's only 1 second where that food is perfect.
Yeah.
Like it's perfectly hot and the cheese is perfectly melted. Same thing with pork. It's so difficult to cook. And it's something I haven't even tried yet. I love to cook, but pork is still, like a nice pork shoulder in the oven. I'm still trying to master that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So definitely raised in Philadelphia, and you were not only in football, but you were in basketball. You decided to pick up sports. So tell me what is it about sports that is such an advanced learning curve when it comes to not doing sports? Because you do have, a coach to listen to, and discipline and punctuality. Tell me your experience in the lessons you learned just in sports alone.
I mean, I've learned it's funny you asked that. honestly, sports taught me everything to do what I plan to do after retiring this year, like in terms of doing the network, the cooking show, you name it, being in front of people, helping people. Uh, it's literally taught me everything. And I've been saying that to people with doing the cooking show and doing it the past 6 months. I literally feel like football prepared me to do this in turn, with everything that goes into that, from organizing events to being around people and cooking and making them not feel nervous on the show, and just, hey, you're just talking to me, don't worry about anything else, and being able to make somebody feel comfortable that was about to just walk off and not do a show with me. So it's yeah, it's all of that.
A cool quote that I read on you is, "Giving back knowledge one rep at a time." So you've decided to do a lot of community events and definitely have a lot of community outreach and try to help the youth. So
Mm.
breaking all that down, giving back knowledge one rep at a time. What can be said about the person that just wants to change the world so quickly, and instead of being patient and taking your time with things when you're trying to reach a goal?
Uh, you know, it's like you're saying, life is a journey, and I honestly believe everybody has their path, and you have to just embrace your path and don't fight the things that come across. But also at the same time, you can get whatever you want. You just every day, like you're saying, one rep at a time. Now, as I'm transitioning out of football, a lot of it, I call it daily deposits. If you think about it as a bottle or a bucket, if every day you drop a drop in that bucket,
Mhm.
eventually those drops are going to build up to some water filled up. And that's literally everything I've done. Football, I transitioned from D line my whole life to O line.
Yeah.
Every day, just chipping away at gaining knowledge and stuff like that. So, it's things like that just you gotta embrace the journey. That's the biggest thing. Embrace the journey, step by step, day by day, and don't give up on the bad days. I think that's the biggest thing. Along the journey, not giving up, because I've been cut. People say no. People tell you shouldn't be doing things. If you really want something and embrace the path and journey, that'll get you done.
Amen. Staying on that topic, you did is D line most of your career, and what was one of the most difficult transitions when you went into offensive line rather than defense? Is there a different mentality? Because to touch on that and to follow up, to piggyback off of that question, can you elaborate on the relationship between the offensive line and the quarterback? Because in defense, I feel like it's more animalistic, maybe more
Mhm.
primitive. But in offense, I want to say, I mean, I'm just this is the outside looking in. I want to say that it's a lot more strategic and it's more about protecting somebody rather than
Yeah.
trying to take somebody's head off.
Yeah. Yeah, you hitting it right on point. I think that's why I've been a good O lineman. Like I'm a protector. I give of myself, and I get that mentality about my quarterback. It's like he's a family member, and you if you watch like my tape and my play, you'll see some plays, somebody hit him a little hard the play before. I make sure to go the next play and get. And it's just certain things,
Give the
you want to
receipt.
keep that guy upright. In the same way with the running backs. Like you ask any running back I played with, like in Calgary, I lived with one of our running backs. And you all those guys, it's your job to protect them. And I take pride in not getting beat. And that's like one-on-one pass rush. That's kind of been my thing. Most people will say it. If one thing, I can pass block. I stay in front of people. I got good feet for my size and stuff. And so that's kind of the thing. And switch to that mode where, yeah, I'm gonna give all of myself to protect these three guys because we need these three guys to score. It's something, it's pretty cool though to see it come together, going to Grey Cups, going to Super Bowls, keeping some pretty good guys upright. It's fun.
Definitely. So you've played with some of the best and played against some of the best. So you talked about in a past interview that you were face to face with Julius Peppers, and would you rather be like, when it comes to that situation, this legend in the game, would you rather be like a big fish in a little pond or swimming amongst sharks when it comes to challenges? Do you welcome like any challenge, or is it something you want to build toward?
Yeah.
And was that more like a jarring kind of matchup when Julius Peppers and you're like, holy crap, okay, all right, well, let's go. What was your mentality going into a game like that where you're face to face with somebody who's much more experienced than you are?
Yeah, and honestly, that was literally like my first reps pro football
That
O
was your
lineman.
That's awesome.
They threw me in there. They said, all right, take a couple reps, and and they went in there. Like so the funny thing is I performed in this film the Packers saw. I performed in that game well enough that they didn't even realize I had only been playing O-line for 2 weeks.
Nice.
So I came in there, they thought I had been playing O-line, and then, I I guess I explained to them I didn't. So then there was a little, you could tell like they gave me the job, and then I told them how I didn't really know the stuff
I
that
just
they
hit
were
the guy.
saying. I just kind of watched what you did with your feet and followed you. And so you could tell he was like, oh. And so they went upstairs and they deliberate. I sat in that room for like 2-3 hours. And I feel like they went upstairs and said, are we going to teach this guy or not?
Or is he, I mean, there's the point where a kid isn't really coachable, not in a bad
Yeah,
sense, but more like, "Nah, this kid's naturally talented. What the hell do I have to show him? Just show him the routes, show him,
and so they took the chance, and it kind of went from there. But yeah, like you're saying, that just gave me confidence. And playing, a lot of people don't realize that, but playing tackle is probably one of the most one-on-one pressure situations, because you got the guy can get to the quarterback right there, and you most of the time are one-on-one with the best rusher.
mm-hmm.
And so people don't realize that one-on-one is you only hear about the one time I mess up in a
Oh, of
whole
course, yeah.
game. You only hear about the one time, but 99% of the time, you're one-on-one taking that heat. And so I think,
Totally makes a lot of sense.
yeah, it's a lot of fun too. So
When you are developing this rapport with your teammates and these close relationships, again, outside looking in, my perspective is always going to be different than yours, but you form what could possibly be a brotherhood. And you said that you considered your quarterback your family member because it's your job to protect them. Now, when you're being cut or when you're being sent off or when you start trading teams, what's the most difficult part about transitioning between different professional teams?
especially for me, because I'm a social guy. I talk to all my teammates. I've
Mhm.
had a moment with every teammate. So especially somewhere like Calgary, where I was for 2.5 years, like that was tough. Even after being traded, 2-3 weeks into being traded, we still texted every day, all day after practice. Like, damn, you're not here. I'm going to do this. We be doing this right now. Like, but it's it's part of the game, but you're not always used to it. Like I was just saying, when actually getting traded from Calgary was tough for me. I was just telling this story. The crazy part is the coaches didn't even tell me first. I was at a youth basketball tournament for the community, and kids started coming up to me that like I mentor and stuff out there and telling me they're gonna miss me. A couple of my friends were playing in the tournament, and they was like, "Cuz you just got traded." Like I wasn't looking at my phone because I was like
Mm-hmm.
sitting at the table. I think I was like sitting at the scoreboard, helping out with the scoreboard, like something like that. And so I hadn't even looked at my phone in a minute. And then so that, that kind of shook me. And then I realized like I had spent the whole summer working with a whole bunch of kids who I was going to coach their youth football team. I coached their team the year before. So a lot of things just like that hit a lot. That hit hard. I think it was like the adult part is like after the season, we all can meet up in football. But I knew like not being in that city, a lot of the kids I was helping out, like, some kids I picked up and took to practice every day. Some kids I was helping feed,
Mm-hmm.
some of the programs in the city kind of depended on me to do certain volunteer things for them year after year. And we had kind of gotten a groove. So it was just a lot of that, the attachment to the community.
Right.
I don't know if I'll ever get as attached to a community like that just because I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
about to ask you if it was because of that experience that you're like, oh, okay. Now,
yeah, we'll
after
still
having
all
a
my stuff.
personal, after
Yeah,
having something impact you personally, now do you take a more business approach when it comes to things like that?
yeah, definitely. Like I have no problem. Organizations hit me up to come, boom, do this, do that. But I've kind of stepped back from getting involved with sports teams and getting involved having relationships with like a 40 kid team,
Yeah,
so yeah, I probably won't do that ever again till I'm staying wherever I'm staying,
but
you know.
it's almost like a double-edged sword because you're doing that to not make it difficult when things change. But now on the other side of the coin, is that difficult for you to do that because you're such a sociable guy and you like interacting with
Like I
people and helping
definitely
them?
want to coach again, but it was rough for me to get traded there, and I think I was angry about a lot of it too.
Hmm.
And then you know one of the kids on the team got arrested after that too. So I
Wow.
felt kind of responsible for that. So, I was pretty angry about that. And, but eventually, I accepted I was with the team I was at. And I think things started to click a little like towards the end of the season. But, that getting traded then it was kind of unexpected. And then certain things went down after I left
Mm.
with some of the personal relationships I had built, just because I was absent, not being able to help people and kind of feeling responsible for stuff that it kind of was a little rough. So, don't want to really put myself in that kind of position again.
Understood. The coaching that you talk about was for the CBFA, the Calgary uh, Bantam Stampeders.
Yeah.
Um, after having that experience, what was it about coaching that you didn't expect to be as challenging walking in?
Uh, Leaving and ending a season, not doing like I figured, oh yeah, we'll be off. It'll be a welcome break when it was really
Yeah.
like, damn, we won as much as we could win too. We won the provincial championship.
Right.
Like
Right.
there was no more to be won. You can't go any further in that age bracket. So, but it was you miss coaching a little bit and that you know you spend so much time with football and stuff and it really like you could tell, especially with the O-line, because O-line's such a technical thing. I could tell I was benefiting those kids. Like
Right.
you could see them getting better. And that was the thing. And so what I did to because that was it's not even like oh, I want to be at practice coaching, chilling with my guys. It was like I saw them just starting to get it going. Like they could be something if they kept working, not, oh, football season's over, I'm gonna just throw it all on the couch. And that was something that was kind of missing in Canada, that year-round training. And so that did lead into, we had a winter camp up here. 7-Eleven Canada sponsored it, also with the help of Stan Reed, and they got things rolling, and we were able to help kids, and they could come for free. Some, if people could afford it, they paid the little $10. So it was a good thing. And then, so, again, things like that, you run a camp for a whole winter, you start to know other kids and families. So it's just, things like that. It was fun though.
No, definitely.
But yeah.
See, now when you're starting a football camp and now you're teaching people, you have a chance to kind of direct traffic when it comes to avoiding certain situations that you might find yourself in a difficult situation. So if somebody were to ask you, like, hey, I'm starting to organize sports, what would be one thing that you feel is focused too much on, and one thing that is not focused on enough?
One thing that's focused too much on, I think one, like how much profit people are going to make. I think the thing that went good with all the camps we did up here, because I tried to do stuff in the US with other people this past year, and it wasn't successful because all they were caring about was how much money they were going to make.
Got it.
How much money are we going to get in? Like, you have a facility here that your business already is supposed to pay for. Why do we then need to go make more money off of it? But like, that wasn't their thing. So, but being up here, people made sure we gathered sponsors, and we had it paid for. The Wildcats Parents Fund also donated money. So the facility was paid for no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But we were going to be there those weeks. And so we didn't focus on the money. And when we weren't focused on the money, man, it was a great camp. Like you got 6-7 CFL, NFL players, NCAA Division I players coming every Saturday morning to teach we got up to almost 50 kids in our first year. And so I think, and it was a huge success because we weren't worried about the money.
So what would you say is one thing that's not focused on enough when you're starting organized sports?
I think one thing, and what I feel like we did a pretty good job of, after we realized, not paying enough attention to the fundamentals, like
just the bare basics.
Yeah, like every camp you go to can't just be boom, you go to one-on-ones the first week. Like boom, we're gonna do one-on-ones and do 7-on-7s. Like everybody needs a 2-3 week refresher of drills, whether you're a pro or not, you need a refresher. So I feel like that's another important thing, give people the tools for a couple weeks, then you let them play. But make sure some tools are being given every time, because like now they got all the 7-on-7 tournaments, they got all the big man camps. Kids, you see kids like teach kids proper etiquette. Like the guys who I've worked with and other guys who I've we all work with, our guys know if you're in a one-on-one, we're not going to bull rush without pads. We want to show our skill on the side. You go watch all those little videos on the YouTube channels, you see kids rushing down the middle, putting arms in throats. And like people will send you like videos, oh, number one kid body slams him. I'll be like, well, when he gets to college, his coach is going to be like, you did that in no pads. Who does that?
Nice.
So that it's things like that, because like I get people like you see those videos going viral all the time, and I'll be in our O-line room and we'll look, and I've even had like an O-line coach see one of them and be like, "That's not a good rep. He's got hands to the face and he's in no pads."
So
And that
it's
video
just bearing it down to like that ain't safe, bro.
yeah, like that's not safe. That's not.
Kid's gonna get hurt.
That video. And so like yeah, it's stuff like that I think is yeah, that needs to be learned. Yep.
So like we're around the same age. I mean, we grew up in the same era, I guess I can say. When you're
Yep.
talking about social media and everything being amplified and things catching fire, do you see more of an advantage or disadvantage for somebody in the public eye to have social media?
If you're doing, depending on what you're doing, I think
Mhm.
it really is. And then also like but I only thing I don't like about social media is how much people try to hide behind and post stuff on your and even and like post fake stuff. Like people will, and then one person will see it and run with it. Like
Right.
you'll be like I don't know. I had like one time like somebody was posting I was somewhere and it was like, bro, you're posting I'm somewhere when I'm on Instagram live right now, showing people right where I'm at. Like
You see,
try
like
again next time.
business wise, it's free marketing. It's free advertisement.
Yeah, business
you can
wise it's good.
yeah.
That's what
But the thing
I
is,
try to
people like to talk and not get socked in the mouth, when something is warranted like that. And it gives everybody a megaphone sometimes, and it's kind of dangerous. Going back to you played for the University of Virginia for 3 years, and I think it was your senior year that you went to University of Miami. Is that correct?
yeah.
Okay. So when you got to University of Miami, and that had to be a huge confidence builder, did you feel like you already knew the team since you used to play as them in NCAA on PS2?
I felt like I knew the pride, I knew the history
Did you
of
walk up to coach and be like, "I got this, coach. I know all the routes already."
the yeah, but nah, it was just for me like again, like kind of living out a dream.
Yeah, it was like was there cathartic, like walking in there and putting
Yeah,
on those pads and that jersey?
yeah, when I the first time, like I saw that my last name on one of those jerseys, it was just like, damn, like at the U. And so like a lot of people, and people like sometimes I'll be like, man, I wish I went there like all 4 years, but
Hmm.
I always say it's the process you were supposed to have. But it would have been fun to get that coaching and just have people believe in you like that for 4 years instead of one. But hey, it only took, and that's what I always say, credit to Miami. I mean, it only took 1 year of them doing that to propel me. Virginia never really let me play.
Hmm.
You know, I had 50 total snaps there. I had 50 snaps in my first game at Miami. So
That's crazy.
Miami believed in me, let me start for the team that became the number 5 team in the country as a nose guard, getting double teamed. I was 5th in tackles on the team. So, I knew I could ball. Coach, coach knew I could ball. Coach had recruited me since high school, so coach knew I could ball, and it was good. And that's why I say people always ask like the most fun I ever had playing football, and it was at Miami. Finally just got to play football and have fun, and my parents were there to see it, and it was a lot of fun.
Um, One thing we talked about earlier was the quarterback O-line relationship. And you played for the Packers, and you've said in a past interview that Aaron Rodgers really took care of you guys and he loved you guys. And you mentioned how he definitely wanted to build a team personally because he'd have lunch with different people every day
Mhm.
just to make sure that that rapport is built up and that trust is built up. Can you tell me what Christmas was like? Because I got the list here, but I'd like you to tell our lovely listeners and viewers, what did Aaron Rodgers get you guys for Christmas? And when I say you guys, I mean the O line, if my notes
He
are
gave
correct.
every O lineman a Samsung TV, a phone, and it was a TV, a phone, and then like the super vet guys, he got them some like super nice hunting shit. Cause like there was like 2 Pro Bowl vet guys been there for a couple years, really protecting his ass. Like he got them a little extra something. But yeah, I'm probably forgetting something too.
I want to
I
say
think
maybe it was Beats headphones. Did he get the
yeah,
headphones?
I was just about to say, I think he got us some beats too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but that was cool. You know, those were all his sponsors and everything. But I thought the coolest part, like I was no name rookie in my first day there. He made sure to wait. He was like waiting till I came to breakfast, and then he came and got in line. Like, he was sitting
Wow.
there, and he came, got in line, like talked to me, sat with me, and said, "Well, welcome to the team," and he left. That was it. And you know, we talked a couple times here and there, but I was like, damn, like he made sure to be the first motherfucker to welcome me to the team because this is his team.
That's
And then
awesome.
I noticed that, and that's how you know, you go team to team. You notice, you know what teams are going to be good and who you want to play for just off the leadership. Like, you know, the same thing, the team I'm on now, like Trevor Harris, the day I got signed originally. And then obviously, if you follow CFL, we got canceled. And then,
Hmm.
you know, I tooled around about playing or not playing, ended up coming back. And the first person to text me today, I re-signed both Trevor Harris, the quarterback here. So it's leaders like that, you know, be it in Seattle, you know, Russell coming first day I'm moving in, coming to introduce himself. Like I don't know who Russell Wilson is. Hey man, nice to meet
Did he say his whole name? Did he go,
yeah,
yes,
he's
the
like,
Russell
I hear
Wilson?
you're gonna be protecting me. I'm Russell Wilson. I'm like, he's like, I don't know who you are. Like,
What was he
and then
like
you
in
know
the
he had to
leadership
drop
role?
his joke in there because you know Wisconsin beat us, so he had to drop
Oh, of
that.
course.
You know, he had to
Nice.
drop that. I was like, all right, Russell, normal as hell, going pads first meeting.
Now with this new season possibly starting, Rodgers less. Do you maybe see things on his side that some people in the media or some fans are not understanding?
Yeah, I've seen it the whole time I played football. He just make enough money and got enough power to do that. Everybody
Mm.
else usually has to perform. That's all it is. That's all it is. He's got enough. That everything he's saying is true. He just has enough power to not have to give into it. Anybody else would have had to give in because they getting fined
Right.
and missing out too much on checks. He gets his salary. So
Um, so now I do
and
want
if
to
you
talk
look at
about.
it, that's what he's doing. He's doing this because he's stepping up for the guys who can't, who he continually watches get messed over. And if you listen to the taglines and the, you know, what he's saying underneath it, that's who he's doing it for. All the guys he keeps watching get messed over by this organization and messed with. And he's like, they can't do nothing, but I can.
Gotcha.
And that's his whole thing right now.
He's he's Spartacus right now for everybody.
Yeah. And you know, that's what's going on. Like people are, I don't know what it is between the Black Lives Matter and all that. People are like, you're going to start respecting us and everything. You know, you're going to start respecting the athletes because you make billions off of us. So you're going to start respecting a little bit. Like,
True.
you know, so people don't, it's a lot that goes on behind the doors to make sure their product goes out there.
One thing I did want to talk about, because after talking with you for a while and getting to know you a little bit, that game where you've already won the NFC Championship, Now you're walking into the Super Bowl. You mentioned seeing your last name on the back of a jersey, and now you see your last name on the back of your jersey that you've worn all year, but now you got a Super Bowl patch. Tell me about the mentality walking into that. I mean, are you trying to not psych yourself up and say, just another game, just another game? If we win, awesome, but it's just another game. Or is it like, yo, we're at the Super Bowl right now? And what kind of mindset did coach want for all of you collectively? And what kind of mindset did you have individually?
I think for like going into all that, I was just cool, calm. I knew I wasn't playing. First off, I knew I wasn't playing. I actually had just got switched to O-line
Got
going
it.
into that game, so I had been playing defense in practice for pretty much the whole time before that. And then boom, let's go. Let's we think you'll be super athletic at it. Da, 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 da. So it's actually funny because you were talking about the pressure and all. So to close out that season, we have competitions every day at practice. To close out that season, they actually had me do a one-on-one against Bruce Irving, and I ended up winning. Or no, I don't know, one of the DNs. I don't know if it was actually Bruce, but it was one of the DNs. I did a one-on-one and I ended up winning. And you see that picture on my Instagram, Pete Carroll dapping me up. And so the offense, because I won, because it was tied, because I won, the offense won competitions for the year. And so but going into that game, and again, you talk about seeing things. Seeing my name the first day we got there, seeing my name on the Super Bowl tag. Because you gotta not like we didn't get into this, and I'm not gonna get into it much, but literally a year, it was almost to the date almost. It was 2 years had passed at that time.
Mm-hmm.
For you think about it, at Virginia going in my junior year spring, so that's around January, February. So
Right.
that's 2 years ago, that exact time, somebody told me they were going to make sure I never played pro football. To then 2 years exactly later,
Damn.
I'm sitting with my name on the Super Bowl tag. And, that's all I'm going to say on all that situation. But, you got to, when that hit me in that moment, like,
That's
damn.
that's shitty, but that's awesome. And
And so,
like I said, if you don't want to, we don't have to get into it if you don't want to. But if it was
yeah,
somebody
kind of
whose
not,
opinion,
yeah.
if it was somebody whose opinion you valued, like shit. But
No,
yeah, I
no,
mean,
it was.
and
I didn't value the opinion. It was coaching staff stuff, and
oh, okay.
all that's been talked about, and a lot of hooplas about that. I'm over it now, so that's why I said we don't even have to get into it. But that was what I thought. That was the thing, because it was boom. It's February 2 years later, and I'm sitting there with a tag.
Hell yeah.
So that was big for me. And then another thing that was big, I got a picture of my dad standing at the Super Bowl sign. And
That's
he'll
awesome.
tell you, when I was 8, I told him he was going to come to a Super Bowl that my team was in. I told him that. And it was
What did
like,
it I know probably man to man, maybe depending on the relationship, maybe, he kind of maybe held some things back. What was his conversation with you at the Super Bowl?
uh he was just like, I'm proud of you. He's like, you done made it through a lot. And for me, I was like, we look where we at. Like, because me and my dad, we've been a lot of places
Hmm.
with sports. And he used to always, sometimes never, like, we weren't never poor. Like, I'm not gonna say it like that, but it's not cheap buying size 15 cleats. Like, it's
Right.
not cheap
Yeah, yeah.
buying size 16s. Like, and you ask anybody, I was always the flashiest one, had the cleats to match whatever we was going to that next event.
Gotta look good, man.
Yeah, and he always made sure I looked good. And it's just, for me, it was just really appreciating him at that moment. I wouldn't have been there without him. Like, he used to drive me 2 hours to training. from my private school all the way to Test Sports to do the work with Dorsey and Gare, so stuff like that, that's everything you think about when you're there. And he was like, oh, you done made it big time, because they fly our parents out there. So
Oh, do they?
my
Oh, that's so
parents
cool.
my parents were loving it, because they had a whole week out in their own villa. They pay for your parents to be in a villa and all that.
That's so cool.
And so, they were out there living in the villa, chilling. So
You always credit your parents
that
whenever you get a chance to in interviews, and you're saying, if it wasn't for them and their values that they instilled in you, that possibly different mindset, or you probably wouldn't even be achieving these goals or even be where you're at right now.
well, I know for sure, if it wasn't for my dad, I wouldn't even, it's funny to say, but I started playing football, to be like him, and I wanted to be as good as him. Growing up, my dad's actually going to get inducted into my private school league's Hall of Fame coming up, and
That's cool, man. Are you
everybody,
inducting him?
I
Are you
don't
doing like
know
a
how
speech before he comes out, or
I don't know how it's all going to go down. We kind of just heard about it.
dope?
But, for me, like, I got to play in the same league. My dad was the first African American captain in the league. And, every time we would go to his reunions or see friends, they would always tell me how good he was. If he didn't tear that knee at Penn, he would have been in the pros and all that stuff. So, like, people always talked about how good he was. And so that's why I played football, to be like him. And then, it was crazy because in 5th grade, I got to wear his number and finally play running back. And
That's
I
cool,
played
man.
running back all the way to high school. And then they're like, all right, let's start being realistic here.
Mhm.
But that's how football really started for me. I wanted to be like my dad. And then, we realized I was actually pretty good at it, and things took off from there. But I just wanted to wear number 45 and play running back. And and then I'm here now. So
That's awesome. And now you have a son who's grown up into being a young man, and you said in a past interview that you kind of secretly don't want him to play, so you kind of support him a lot in the basketball. You guys play 2K together and all that stuff. Um, so is it like the mental and physical strain on your body that makes you kind of want to steer him away from that, or is there possibly another reason?
yeah. Yeah, the strain on your body, and it's just, you know, it's a lot of things you can do in life.
Hmm.
If he's really meant to play football, he'll come to it, just like I did. And I think, and my dad did the same thing. My dad tried to push me to play basketball so I could avoid all this stuff that, you know, I'm now dealing with.
Right.
But, so
So tell me who the Reebok Raiders were.
that was my one of my basketball teams. I played with for them. What was that? Seventh grade. Seventh grade. Allen Iverson, actually, Allen Iverson sponsored our team.
Right.
And then,
You
yeah,
said the rest of the league kind of looked at you guys like, "Damn, you guys are spoiled with all the sneakers and the jerseys and
yeah,
everything."
we always had a target. We definitely always had a target on our back, because everybody knew. I think we were like the first team. Like, it was like us. Carmelo had a team, and like it was one other team. It was like we were the first ones that, like, oh, basketball players are sponsoring AU teams to go around.
Got it.
And like, so we were part of like his Reebok deal, like we had every shoe. Like, I just found the other day, when I was packing to come back to Canada, I found my old school Iversons that I wore back then.
Damn.
The red ones, the questions,
The
the red.
questions, yes, I remember those.
Yeah, I found my pair of questions from Reebok Raiders days. I was wearing a 15 already then.
Man, I remember like scrolling through East Bay magazine, just like trying to come up with outfits for each sneaker.
Yeah.
Being from Philly and having Allen Iverson sponsor your team, that had to be something cool. And now you're in turn doing that for kids. You're helping them out, and you're doing community outreach, and you're making sure that these kids have, you know, somebody else to look up to. I don't want to say that you're substituting. In some cases, maybe you are, but what does that do for you internally, and what was your most rewarding interaction personally with somebody in all
I think
those in all that community outreach stuff?
I think the biggest thing for me is there was one kid who's out turning I mean, I saw he had talent when I was helping him, but kid here in Canada, Musa, and he's getting ranked up here in Canada and all this stuff now. Colleges are looking at him, and it was just to be able to, the same way Allen Iverson sponsored me. Well, for me, he wanted to go to Burke with me for a day. So to be able to bring him to practice and all that stuff for a day, and then it was for like something he had to do for school. And then, and also he came to training with me a few times, and to just be able to, help somebody like people help me. And that was a big thing. We didn't get into really that, but a lot of this started, when I was transitioning from D line to O line. Domingo Graham, he played for the Cowboys and the Chargers. He helped me for free. He taught me everything he knew in about 3 sessions before I had to play in this developmental game that the Packers ended up seeing me in. But we did 3 sessions. We did 2 a days, and the rest is history from there. And he didn't want any payment. He just said, when you get on, help as many people as you can. And I think I've had so much success and continue to have jobs and stuff because I kept my promise to him, and I keep getting better and keep getting help to get better, and just working at my craft. And that's what I strive to do, just honor that promise to him. And that's where a lot of this a lot of where people say, oh, somebody else wouldn't put this much effort. I guess that's where a lot of the extra effort comes in, because the promise I made.
Nice. You see, those people that I feel like maybe not put in the effort probably have some past experiences that didn't go well, and it kind of ruins it for all the future relationships that they're gonna have. What,
Exactly.
what do
Yeah.
you say about people who maybe feel like showing love is part of a weakness, or the fear of being taken advantage of because some people give and then relationships don't work out or friendships don't work out, or what do you say to people that are afraid to put themselves out there affectionately like that, to want to just show love?
You to be honest with you, you don't say anything, because there's gonna come that moment for every person that they have the chance to, and they're gonna pick to. Like, you might not like. I'll give you a perfect example. Not every person on the football team goes out and does community service,
Hmm.
but we have cancer patients come, we got orphanages come, you know, and it's a crazy thing to see. You'll see the quietest guy on our team, but some little kid, like all these little kids will love them. And you'll just see it happen. Ends up running around with the kid. So it's not you. I truly believe this. It's not your doing. You're gonna be picked. And some people were picked for different things, but it will come. It will come. You don't need to say anything to them.
Like
It'll happen.
I've become so zen the past few years that I wish it good for everybody, and if something doesn't work out, it's like, all right, well, we got nothing left to talk about, but still, God bless you. I hope everything works
Yeah.
out. I hope you still
No
got
reason
success,
to try to tear
but
you down. Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
not gonna work out here. But I wouldn't wish anything bad upon anybody. I I just want like I it's just for me it's easier. For people it seems difficult. Just show love. Like that's all you gotta do. Just show support and show love. It's free. It doesn't even cost anything. Um So last
Three.
year was a really difficult year for a lot of people, um, and definitely difficult for the African American community. I'm not going to say that it was more difficult than other years because I feel like a lot of issues that were brought up last year are issues that were there anyway, just that they're being more magnified.
They were just highlighted because we was all at home to see it every day.
Right now, when it comes to yourself, so I had a question because you've mentioned in past interviews that you were able to kind of move into a nicer neighborhood and kind of stay away from things because your parents worked hard and they didn't want you like getting into certain trouble. Do you feel that your opinions on issues are different because you were able to, let's say you grew up in a rougher neighborhood than you did. Do you feel like your issues wouldn't be there because you weren't the only black kid in high school or you weren't the only kid getting racial tension against you from schoolmates?
I just think it's a honestly thing. I had it on a less level because mine come from teachers and the people in my community that can't really do anything to me. In the city, that shit comes from the police, the authorities, the government. They're the people that can mess your life up. So it's just where it's the different environment, and that's like something like as you like just I don't know, I've been on like all this like informational stuff and just
Hmm.
reading and researching because I'm always looking for food stuff, and then food stuff reads into history. It's like, and it is the thing, and it's like people be like, oh, why is it always a black and white? And that because that's what it's always been. It from the start of time. Even if you look at our food, like that's what it's crazy to me because I'm seeing it even in food. The dishes we cook as black people in
Hmm.
soul food is because that was what was being thrown away by the white people. And it's crazy, like
You
ox
feel like
like
there's more there, at the foundation of African American food, you feel like it's more resourceful, like how they
it
came up
that
with it.
that is the foundation of African American food. Like eating. So, like, if you look back in the old days, eating chicken thighs wasn't a good thing. They threw away the
I
chicken
love
thighs.
chicken. They threw away chicken. Oh, get the
Yeah,
no, hell no.
that's what I'm saying. Look, I'll give you a perfect example. Me and my dad just were talking about this because we just made the oxtail stew before we left.
Oh hell yeah,
They
jeez.
used to throw away the oxtail. So we took the oxtail. If you now go to the store, the oxtail is worth more than the regular beef. That's
Bro,
crazy to me.
oxtail is. Oh my god, it's so
But that's
good.
yeah, that was something else we made because they threw it away.
That's that stuff that like sticks to your ribs, man. Like,
Exactly.
oh,
Chitlins, another thing, like chitlins. That was they were throwing the pig
or even
intestine.
the what do you call
Hog
pork
maw.
rinds.
Yeah, pork rinds. The reason people use fat back in the greens, they couldn't use bacon in the greens because we didn't get bacon, so they had to use the fat back. Like,
You've had experiences with racial tension, and being racially profiled. Especially one sticks out that you were. I mean, you got pulled over and everybody came up to you saying you're not insured. This is not your car. Again, you found yourself in a neighborhood where it's predominantly one race and that's white, and also you were just running as a teenager trying to train right for a certain season coming up,
mhm.
and then you got stopped. What is it about not experiencing that people need to understand that there is racial tension, there is systematic racism? Why can't people just listen
I
to you and your story and say, this guy's right, I see what he's feeling, maybe we should help?
I mean, I'll tell you, like I mean, I feel like now it is being exposed. One, like that's what's being realized and seen by people every day. But two, people just make excuse. Like the famous excuse I hear in my area. Well, you shouldn't have had your car tinted like that. Like, Well, do you actually know why my car's tinted like that? Oh yeah, because I have light sensitivity and it's documented. That's actually why my car's tinted like that. But I'm not gonna go argue with somebody. But I know tons of people who say that. And they'd be like, yeah, the car's not tinted to just look cool. Like same way you see me wear same way you see me wear sunglasses. You know what I'm saying? But
Because you have light sensitivity in your
yeah,
eyesight.
yeah. So
So
it's
what kind of
just
venue do you feel is good for a conversation to maybe two people that don't agree on some issues? What venue do you feel would be a good place to have a conversation? Because anytime somebody tries to talk about it, it's like wrong place, wrong time. In your experience, where can two people sit down and just formally just talk and just say, "This is my issue. This is my issue. I'm trying to understand you. I'm trying to understand
that's I might be wrong for this, but I don't in the US, I don't give it time or day. I'm not I'm not gonna spend my time giving you some giving somebody some back and forth. I know what goes on every day. You want to
you."
give me some back and forth that it doesn't, I don't even need to give you my time. That might be some people might call that rude or whatever, but that shows you that person's opinion. And I don't got time to change their opinion.
Don't you feel
That's
that there could be an opportunity to educate somebody who may, because sometimes ignorance isn't a bad thing. It's just, I feel the lack of exposure leads to the lack of education. If you don't see it, if you don't see it, sometimes you don't believe it. Do you feel like maybe that can be an opportunity to educate somebody? Like, this is what's happening. This is what you're not seeing. And the reason you disagree with me is because you don't see it.
I've been on a real like I don't have time or patience for that. I'm like, if you believe that, boom, I don't need to be associating with you. And I could spend my 20 minutes educating, talking
Hmm.
to somebody I'm helping. You know, boom. He needs help trying to figure out how to do a website. Boom. I'm gonna spend my 20 minutes telling him how he did his website. LX calls me, he needs some t-shirts done. I'm gonna do his t-shirts right now and call Steve to get his t-shirts done instead of wasting that 20 minutes to talk to somebody who doesn't even want to be open-minded.
So with that being said, how do we get people to understand?
I mean, I think there's enough. This is the thing. It's smacking you in the
So
face
okay,
enough.
so you feel like there's enough out there that people just, hey,
Yeah,
it's
like
right
now,
there.
like that's what I'm saying. When people make like when they go so around it now, it's just like you can't deny it now. Like and that's where it's everywhere. Like we're talking like that's why I'm saying I don't need to spend my time. Like boom, if you're trying to watch HBO, you see it on HBO. Like I'm in the hotel quarantine on HBO. They just did a whole documentary on the kid who shot the people in South Carolina and how that whole thing was handled.
Mm,
Again, what happened for the situation to go right? The black people in the town had to suck it up and say we forgive the white guy for their not and they're not there wasn't a riot there because they didn't want to have a riot there because everybody was twisting the riots. So these people saw
got
it. Again, that's what I'm saying. Don't waste your time trying to educate somebody on why we're angry. Show them. All right, we gonna to not riot so we don't give you excuse to talk about us, and we're gonna sit here and tell you we're forgiving you and let you know everything you did wrong that we're forgiving you, and then you got to sit with that and it's in your face there. and
gotcha.
that's and that's I think that's a perfect example. Like, but that's the thing I want to emphasize is again though, the black people had to take the hurt and punishment and just bottle it and and
And
say
that's
we
why
forgive.
it at one point you just blow up. I mean,
Exactly.
and I and
You
I
always have to say, oh, let me explain it to you. Let me explain what you did wrong. Nah, there isn't no more explaining. You want to
while
do
I
that to your
don't
white counterpart.
while I
That's
don't
that's what it
condone,
is.
and people can come after me if they want, hit me in the comments, whatever. This is my opinion. While I don't condone some things that happen during the riots, at the very same time, you get pissed off at a point, you're gonna fuck some shit up. Like, just get tired. Just get tired. And I'm not in that community, but I can only imagine. Like,
Yeah, and that
shit,
was the
another
other
one,
thing.
man. Like another one and another one, another one.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. And that's why I said you don't have to educate on it. Look at how the kid who killed all those people was handled.
Just
Look
walking
at
right through the town, chilling with a
yeah,
big ass gun.
and then look at and so that's the other thing. That's why I said I guess that's why this you don't need to talk about it is so ingrained in me because HBO is on loop. So I've seen that thing. I've seen that thing like 3 times. But the key to it to me is in the same county, they shot a black man who was just walking. The officer walked up on him and just started questioning him. He wasn't on a call or nothing, and this guy was just walking. And because he was a police officer questioning him, he ran off. There was no reason. And with his back turned unthreatened, he shot him 5 times. That's in the same place that
Damn.
they then took this person that brutally murdered 8 church folk and they took him to Burger King. I don't need to talk to you about that. You can see it.
What were you able to do for your mental health during the whole pandemic? Because all this shit like hit at once.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was talking. And I think I found my people, like we talking about Leon, like me and Leon, we talked all the time, having conversations and just building and keeping each other all focused. And a lot of he's wise like for his age and just he I would say he listens to a lot more of what people around the world are speaking about, like notable minds, not just listening to anybody, but he listens to a lot of notable minds and hears the concepts they're talking about. And he'll bring up some concepts to me that like sometimes are mind blowing, but then you think and you'd be like, but that's not a lie. Like I can think I feel like I do a lot more out in the world. So I interact with a lot of people and I see a lot of the concepts he's talking about in real life. And then, also for me, learning who I could lean on and learning who my team was. That was a big thing for all this JR stuff that's now popping off.
Perfect
I've,
segue. I did want to talk
yeah,
about
I learned all the people who were really there for me and all the people who were kind of, I was trying to prop them up and they was snaking me behind my back type stuff. So, my circle's real close. Like, my parents, my boy Vinny, Watts, my boy Jordan, my boy Curtis, and then probably Leon. Like if you look, that was like who I was talking to most of the pandemic. And then a couple friends up here in Canada, like you also see during the pandemic who's reaching out to you too. Like, it was only about 6 people really. Oh yeah, we checking on each other every day. So that I feel like that was another thing too, a lot of that, a lot of that smoke and mirrors, especially going into something where you kind of going on the road all the time and stuff. It just helped. And I'm happy. The pandemic is weird, but I needed to come home, be with my people. I'm happy to be like I never been this happy going into football, like a new season and a new journey, and it's just like I got my show for when football's over. And I know what the next thing is. Like I had to work hard to get to this football thing. Now that's the next thing I'm ready to work hard on. And so it's just a lot of fun.
Tell me about that circle, about building a good team around. How do you now that you're running stuff and you want a goal and you need people around you to trust you and you trust them that they want your best interests at heart. How do you collectively get that idea? Like this is the goal, this is what we're all working toward, and everybody clocks in.
And that's the thing. I used to just like keep searching out people, but then I started realizing you got to let it come. Like You know, my boy Vinny, like we talk every day. I run everything through him, cooking wise, ideas. He'll shoot me ideas. He'll shoot me DMs. Like somebody who doesn't have to really spend their time doing some of the stuff he does. He does. Like, you know, he doesn't have to see an idea on Instagram and then be like, well, we're not going to take this idea, but we can make it 3 times better by doing this, this, and this. Like, he don't have to do that.
Right.
But he wants to see us all succeed, so he does that. And it's like it's things like that. And you know, it's a quote that I saw a while back, and that's what I really started applying, like, and I really started thinking about. And it said, you were too busy trying to build up people that didn't even want to see you win. And that really stuck with me because when I first got home, that was really what was going on. And then ever since I broke away from that, it's like things have just boom, it's been like a constant takeoff. Like I call my dad every day, like, damn, I can't believe this person just reached out. This person is answering me back. They said, yeah, they definitely will want to do stuff. And it's turned into like, I don't even have enough time. And then, you know, a lot of events are asking me to come, and I'm like, man, I got football. And it's like, hey, if I wanted to have this one last go around, so you know that all the same. If they're that good of an event, like my dad said, they'll have one next year,
True.
and
Oh
we'll
yeah.
come better for it next year. So,
So
and that's been the big
tell me
thing.
about what's cooking JR and Justin Renfrow apparel. Tell me about these ventures.
Yeah, Justin Renfrow apparel really was a thing that helped other people away from me to raise money in Canada. Pandemic hit, turned for profit, turned it to a for-profit, did a few things, but really, honestly, it's still a way to help people. You know, did you know the 1% shirts that Leon's doing? We
Right.
do those. We do those, helping a couple other brands, kind of people are doing an event. Boom, they want to have something nice like Anthony Pantanella. He's facing off with the Naked Cowboy. I threw him a little JR hoodie. It's uh haven't fully emerged into it as a business. Most of it is giveaway. I do stuff on it's just doing stuff on the side right
That's
now
cool.
because the cooking show before it was a big thing, but the cooking show started taking off, and that's my true passion. The apparel, the goal for the apparel is to get my garments going and get people printing on them and be a true apparel line. And
Got
so,
it.
that's still going to be worked on, but it's only 24 hours in a day.
So the main
So
hustle is what's cooking.
yeah, that's really what I'm trying to build and make the next thing. We're still, people email me for shirts. We're still gonna do your shirts and all that, but I'm not. As you look at my Instagram, you see I'm not putting it out there that much right now.
Yeah.
In about 2 years, once I'm done football, about 2 years, you'll see we'll come back, come in hard with the Justin Renfro apparel, a true garment line, and we'll be there.
Now that you're deciding to move on to these more full time in the near future and you're going to step away from football, what do you want out of this last season?
Like everybody, I'd love to win, but I'm not. I say that in the same breath. I'm
Oh,
just
I mean
happy.
that's on the surface, right? I mean,
Yeah,
what do you want
I'm
for
saying.
you? Was it this past year? Was it the pandemic? Was it sitting down? Was it
I'll
what's
be
this last
honest.
season for?
This last season's for my grandma. If we're being 100% honest, she passed through COVID, and it's been tough. But I mean, she came to me about 2 or 3 times telling me to play this year. So I'm here. And I wasn't expecting to be here. But yeah,
May she rest in peace, brother.
appreciate that.
Of course. Where can everybody find Justin Renfro on social media?
J.Renfro. Instagram, TikTok.
TikTok. I gotta look you up.
Yeah, it's mostly cooking though. It's mostly
Oh
cooking.
no, me and my girl would love that.
Yeah, and then the JR Network also on Instagram, and yeah.
You got Twitter too, right?
Oh yeah. See, you see me. I can't even keep up with all my socials.
You're too busy, bro.
At Renfrow Justin on Twitter, and then I got Justin Renfrow Apparel also on Instagram. Justin Renfrow Sports also on Instagram. LinkedIn, Snapchat, FROW54. I think that's all the channels, right?
So I didn't know you had Justin Renfrow Sports. I'm about to
Yeah.
follow
Justin
you right
Renfrow
now.
Sports as well. Justin Renfrow Sports and Justin Renfrow Apparel have kind of slowed down just with football picking up. That's
Of course. But
how things
Justin,
go. We'll
I
be
thank
back.
you for all your time today. It was really cool talking to you. I wish you the best of
Yeah,
luck on this
appreciate you having
upcoming season. No, of course, man. I wish you the best of luck on this upcoming season. I'm gonna be watching that cooking show. I'm gonna be watching your TikToks. Anything you want to say to everybody before we sign off?
Hey, I just hope everybody has a blessed year. We all move on from this pandemic. Go for your goals. Even at your desk job, everybody's got to make their income. But hey, there's hours after your job to go for what you really want to do. And that's the biggest thing I try to instill in everybody. A lot of people said I couldn't do football, and I'm here. And a lot of people I know are doubting me on the cooking show, but I'm gonna give it 100 and I'm gonna go for it. So I just stress everybody else to do the same.
Awesome. All the links for Justin can be found in the description. This is D. You can find me at DNC Digital on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And yeah, go ahead and check my TikTok out. I don't even know what I'm doing on that thing. I'm trying to find something that sticks, but I do have a TikTok. So check me out. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Hit it with a like, leave a comment about Justin, leave a comment on anything you want to talk about. Hit your boy with a subscription. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can see whenever my interviews come out. I do about one a week, and I'm just trying to make it happen. Everybody, have a great day and take care of yourselves.